Hi, this video will show the shapes of marginal cost curves and average cost curves and show you how they are related to each other. First, let's look at the data. Here is a column of output, fixed cost, variable cost, total cost, marginal cost information. Of course, the marginal cost is simply the difference in total cost incrementally as you increase output by 1, how your total costs change. Next, we have average fixed cost, average variable cost, and average total cost. What I want to focus first is on marginal cost, or the cost of making another one. So look at marginal cost closely. It starts at 25 and begins to drop and drop until it reaches a minimum of 16, making 4 units of output, and after that it rises and rises and rises. That's why our marginal cost curve typically looks like a check mark or a swoosh shape in red. It starts high, it drops initially, and then goes up again and never comes back. So that's your typical marginal cost shape. Now let's look at the shape of the average fixed cost. It starts high at 48 and drops and drops and drops. It continues to drop. This will always happen for the average fixed cost. The average fixed cost curve, also known as spreading out your overhead, will continue to drop as output expands. Why? Because your fixed costs don't change, your output's expanding, and so your fixed cost divided by an expanding number will always shrink. So our average fixed cost here in orange or yellow always has this declining, falling shape that asymptotically approaches the origin as your output expands. Now let's talk about average variable cost. Average variable cost has a U shape. It starts high, grows lower and lower and lower, reaches a minimum of 20, and then goes higher, 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 and higher. So this is your U shape average variable cost. Average total cost has a similar relationship in that it starts high and gets lower and lower and lower, reaches a minimum now at 27, and then goes up and up and up. So average variable cost here in purple has this U shape. Average total cost in green also has a U shape, goes down and then goes back up. Now, last point I want to make about these cost curves is the relationship between marginal cost and average variable cost. So let's talk a bit about these. So notice that the marginal cost initially falls. Average variable cost initially falls. Why is average variable cost falling? Whenever the marginal cost is less than the average variable cost. So for the second output, for example, our marginal cost is at 21. Okay, so this 21 is smaller than this 23. So what's happening to average variable cost? When marginal cost is less, average will fall. How about another example? Marginal cost 16. Average variable cost 20.5. Marginal is less than average, average will fall. So when does average stop falling? When the marginal cost is just equal to the average cost. Average cost doesn't change. And this is the minimum. This will always be the minimum of your average variable cost, where these two are equal. So now what's happening when we get past that point? Like suppose here, when you're making 8 units of output, you've got 27 as your marginal cost, and you've got 21 as your average variable cost. Clearly marginal cost is larger than average variable cost. So what's going to happen? Well, if your marginal is above your average will increase. So comparing MC with AVC, when MC is larger, average variable cost, when MC is smaller, average variable cost will fall. When MC is larger, average variable cost will rise. Where does AVC not change? When it's equal to marginal cost. Where does AVC reach its minimum? Where it equals marginal cost. So on the graph here, looking at the marginal cost in red, comparing that with the average variable cost in purple, where those two meet is the minimum of average variable cost. A similar analysis can be done for average total cost and marginal cost. If marginal cost is below it, like it is initially, 21 is less than 47. So that's going to cause your average total cost to drop. And when we're producing 4 units of output, marginal cost is 16. What's average total cost? Well, it's 32. Once again, marginal is smaller than average. Average is going to drop, continue to drop. Okay, so it's falling from 38 to 32.5. So where does average stop dropping? Where average is equal to the marginal cost here. Marginal cost is 27, making 8 units. Average cost is 27. So that's the point where average cost no longer drops. That is the minimum of average total cost. Now, subsequent numbers, for example, making an output of 9, what's marginal cost? It's 30. What's average cost? It's 27.3. 30 larger than 27.3, so average cost is going to rise, and that's what it does from 27. It goes up to 27.3. So the similar picture is had here by marginal cost with average total cost. When marginal cost is below it initially, average cost is total cost is falling. When marginal just equals average total cost is minimized. Where marginal cost exceeds average cost starts to go back